And we are live. Marvelous. Once I get done seeing ads for things, I can actually talk to people. I can actually see what they see. Oh, my cat just wandered in. Hello, Pudding. Welcome everyone to another Tuesday drawing stream. It's a wonderful Tuesday. I'm here again with Storm and Andy.
Bon swag.
Yes.
Today we're going
back.
to wax poetic over one of his copy pieces that he's supposed to be working on. Today we'll be detailing over the fine arts that he is going to describe to us.
Yes, I actually have something appropriate for today, considering that today is supposed to be Tukia Day. And I have something Battletech related I've been working on as a commission that I'm going to work some more on in stream. So this is a group pick from Cold Father, one of our fellow Legionnaires, of his tabletop game he's run. As you can tell, it's definitely a Kurita-based game. You know, there's a few hints in there, but this is kind of a character group pick that I've been doing for it, and I've been slowly chipping away at it. So I figured, why not work on this today, since, you know, it's Battletech themed, and, you know, it's people kind of get to see something that's a little bit more than just a doodle for a change. Although I've kind of worked on stuff on here before, I guess. But
God damn it, Bobby! You've brought great dishonor on our family.
God, I'm not going to be able to unsee that. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, Andy just, before stream, Andy pointed out to me that the guy with the hat looks like Hank Hill, and now I can't unsee it.
I saw it as soon as he made the joke.
Hank Hill.
I mean, the guy in the smack middle looks like one of us Legionnaires, to be honest.
I mean, that, yeah, it does. Actually, that's Eeyore's character, so.
Excellent.
He's from Steiner Space. Anyway, yeah, I gotta remember what my layers are in this, because this is one of those projects where layers can get complicated. As you can see, all the characters in one layer, and then the background's in another.
Hold on a minute, my cat's sticking her ass in my face.
Yeah, that sounds like a cat. Our one cat, Yogurt, likes to stick her butt in my wife's face when she's going to sleep, so.
Meow.
Yep, it's about like that.
Alright. We need to start heavy with this episode.
Oh, like last time?
Yeah, so describe to me what's going on in the Adresian affair.
Oh, we're getting into that. Oh, God.
Explain?
So, the Andreessen affair is a UFO abduction case from, I believe, the 50s or early 60s. It involves I think it was Wisconsin family, specifically the wife of the home, Betty Andreessen, and her encounter with alien beings, which is a very surreal story. It's kind of delves into what you consider in like the UFO world high strangeness, which is kind of like, for lack of a better term, and I hate to say it like this because it kind of downplays what it is. It's like a Looney Tunes kind of thing where it's very surrealist stuff. And the description she gives of the events that she went through get very interesting. She supposedly went through something that could have possibly been less of a dimension, or like less of space, but an actual dimension. And you know, there's a lot of the descriptions and stuff she gives her is really interesting. And you know, you could say obviously it's just some woman that's just kind of making stuff up. I mean, you can obviously see that with any UFO case, I suppose. But the thing that makes it interesting to me is that that she was a church-going mother, and a large family, which I don't want to sound derogatory when I say this, but she's not the kind of person that would be prone to flights of fancy and imagination. So, but it's interesting because they essentially regressed her under hypnosis to kind of go over the story with her, which is kind of a common thing in UFO stuff, and it can be kind of iffy, so you could, I suppose, take it with a grain of salt. But the descriptions that she gave... Damn it, Storm. The descriptions that she gave are just really interesting. Like, for example, her description of the craft that she was on when it was recreated by an engineer was very much a probable craft design. Like, it's something that you would associate it with a craft, but it's just a really interesting case. I mean, I sent a picture to Andy of one of the art pieces for it that I found the other day. Let me see if I can pull it up on stream, actually, because it's interesting.
Oh yeah, I read it. I was like, this is like movie horror shit. The way it,
that's what I mean. It's very surreal, very strange stuff. And hers is not the only case that does that, mind you, but it's one that I'm kind of familiar with. If you want a really good podcast that talks about it, and I talk about this one a lot, but Last Podcast on the Left does an episode on it, and it's really interesting. But you see what I mean here? It's like they moved in like a weird herky-jerky motion, and they actually phased through the door, according to her description. And her father apparently saw some stuff too, but he did not want to talk about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're into UFO stuff, it's a really interesting story to look into. I guess that's
interesting.
Yeah, and we're just diving headfirst into the UFO stuff, I suppose. But you know, such as my interests and Andy's interests.
And that doesn't have to be what we talk about. I did name the episode that, though, because it does seem to be our habit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an interesting stuff, you know. Great. I know there's plenty of skeptical people out there, and that's fair. I'm plenty skeptical of a lot of stories that I've read in terms of it or heard about, but you know, it's fun to think about. It's interesting to think about, you know.
Yep. Ninja Turtle asks if these are Wolf's Dragoons.
No, they're Cretans. The Wolf's Dragoons emblem is different. Yeah, you can see it's a dragon. Yeah.
Yep.
They're actually
describes them as me and the boys.
Oh, it's very much a me and the boys picture.
And so a console says hi.
Hello. Alright.
Sorry, we hadn't addressed chat since the beginning of the stream, so I wanted
No, we didn't. We just kind of dived immediately into alien stuff, which, you know, is us, but...
Lol.
Cest Levi.
Yeah. Back to shading, which is... I like shading because it really makes your stuff pop, but it also can be very tedious. I'm sure Storm will agree on that one.
Yeah, although I do appreciate it just from the angle of it does bring the thing alive, so like...
Oh, it does.
I'm one of those people for whom, if it has meaning, tedium loses its tedium. But then again, I'm also a music and video editor.
I mean, well, yeah, you've got to accept tedium at that point. Not to say that, you know, it's not worth it in the end, but it's like, it can be a lengthy process all the same, you know. Like, and this is me just doing, like, brushes and stuff. I don't really do cell shading like most cartoons and stuff do, just because, I mean, a large part of it, too, is just, that's even more tedious, because the way cell shading kind of works is you kind of have to block off areas and then fill those in, which sounds easier, but you also got to consider the shape and everything, and when it comes to, like, just airbrush shading like I do, it kind of, I don't know, I find it's easier to change stuff around if you need to, because it's as simple as erasing it, and I don't know. To each their own, I suppose, but it's just kind of how I've gone about shading since I've started really doing drawings that involve a lot of shading.
Yeah.
I did try a bit of cell shading for this, but I really didn't like the look of it, so I kind of went back to this. And that's another thing, too. It kind of blends nicer, too, in terms of color. It's not as harsh.
Yeah. There's an anime I'm going to have to show you sometime. Not so much the whole anime, I just kind of want to show you the art style of it.
Oh, I mean, I'm up for that. I have been enjoying us watching Escaflowne. That's actually an anime that I'm kind of digging.
Nice. Yeah, the thing about the art style, though, is it's something that was made in 2009, but they clearly, like, went out of their way to do stuff from pre-CG, pre-Flash, pre-all that. And do hand drawing first, and then only used it to, like, touch stuff up.
What's the name of it? I might have...
It's one of the variations of Kitaro. Hakaba Kitaro.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, it's, the Kitaro animes only occasionally get carried over to the US. It's kind of like Fire Emblem that way.
Okay, yeah.
But what's interesting is they rotoscope the textures over the coloring.
That is interesting.
But they do not rotoscope the animation.
See, that's interesting to me because, yeah, I mean, usually when you think of rotoscoping, it is the animation, but I'm actually curious to see what that looks like now because rotoscoping color sounds pretty.
They do it
wild.
also in the anime Gankotsuo, but in there it's like way more punch you in the face with like textured design kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
because Gankotsuo is going for the design of like everything's artsy, everything's like high art. That's these nobles living in a world of fake imagery.
See, that
Hyper-symbolic.
makes sense though to do it, so I can understand why they went about it that way.
Whereas with Hakaba Kitaro, they were doing an adaptation of a manga that was published in the 50s, so they wanted it to feel like something that could have been from maybe not the 50s, but like the 70s into the 80s,
Yeah,
and so like
that's sort of
adding
time period.
adding film grain in on purpose, little dust specks and stuff like that.
Which I like when they kind of do that in that sort of authentic way. I mean, learning about kind of how they did the visual effects and things for, what was it, Alien Isolation was pretty cool. Because it's like, they had access to a lot of the sorts of behind-the-scenes stuff from the movies directly from the studio, and that really helped a lot.
Yeah.
And they also did things like plugging in stuff backwards so it caused like static effects and things. You know?
Yeah. Also, hello there, Mercury Alpha and Baron of Derpshire. Ninja Turtle says Curitans without a katana, such dishonor.
Well, there's a
And
katana.
Baron...
It's on the flag back there. See?
Oh yeah, with a rat.
I actually made that logo too.
Yeah, that's actually a cool logo. And then Baron of Derpshire says Escaflowne has an amazing soundtrack, which it does.
It does, and I think I've said it before on stream. I want to see more fantasy settings where it branches out from just like medieval fantasy, and that really scratches that itch for me. Because yeah, you've got a bit of like Neo Knightly stuff in there, but you know, you've also got giant mechs. You're on another planet. You've got things like float stone technology and things, and like just a lot of interesting stuff. It just comes together in just like a really exotic way, and I dig that. You know, I definitely want to watch more of it. And another thing too about it that I like is that it doesn't really lean too hard into like the, and I don't really know a better way to describe this, the little random anime trope that a lot of modern anime gets into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it does very lightly what a lot of anime has done flagrantly.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. They don't do it gratuitously.
Yeah. And that's some of that is something that goes back to older anime like Dragon Ball and stuff from that time.
Didn't we say that it kind of has a Final Fantasy VI feel to it?
That's what Wacker was comparing it to.
I could definitely
I would
compare that to Final Fantasy because
I
mean I've never played Final Fantasy, but I can understand.
Fortresses.
Well, yeah, because it's very similar to the Empire of Gestalt with the kind of Magitech, strangely advanced culture in an otherwise medieval world. You have airships. You have.
Yeah, I was actually reading into a little bit of the lore today because I was looking up the mech designs for that. Because originally today I had planned on drawing like a fantasy mech, kind of not too dissimilar from Escaflowne, but I was like, I'd rather work on this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
No. Sorry, I thought you were done. Like, keep speaking.
I was just gonna say the thing I found interesting is like they describe the mechs in it, and I forget how you pronounce the name. It's like some weird name to what they call them, but like most of them are kind of hand-built crafts products, where it takes decades, if not like a century, to build one. But the bad guy mechs are all mass-produced, which I thought was a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing about Escaflowne and your comment kind of on not just traditional fantasy, I think a big thing there is that I don't mind traditional fantasy. In fact, it's probably still one of my favorite subcategories, but you have to commit. A lot of people do medieval fantasy as just sort of a catch-all, but they never actually get into like a medieval culture or the kind of the dark feeling of the fantasy or traditional feeling like monsters and such, and it just becomes a catch-all thing. So like the difference between Lord of the Rings proper or Game of Thrones proper, granted I have some feelings about Game of Thrones now, but back when it was just the books, that say like fantasy RPG number 786
Yeah.
just doesn't quite get to.
You know, a weird thing for me I've noticed in the past few years is when I see like tomatoes in a fantasy RPG or in a fantasy world, I start like, oh yeah.
The tomato effect. How's that? Like, I'm curious how. Explain that a little bit, because I'm a little bit curious what you're.
Well, I don't think tomatoes were a food product until the New World was founded.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay, that
they
makes
were
sense.
not a food product among Europeans. That's correct. Because
Yeah, if you're trying to do an authentic fantasy setting, I could see how that would be a turnoff.
well,
But
and
then again, I
then
don't think potatoes were either. But like when I think potatoes, I think poor peasant.
well, another part of it is that a lot of people forget that there's a difference between realistic and authentic.
Yeah.
Authentic is what most people mean when they say realistic, but in art, realistic doesn't refer to it's actually accurate. It feels accurate.
Yeah,
So,
realism
if
can be
you-
very exaggerated.
Yeah, if you have, say, a tomato in Berserk, no one's going to notice. If you have a cell phone in Berserk, people are going to notice.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's a legit like. It's like it's one of those weird things that like
It's a bit of a disconnect.
remind
yeah.
me of. It's like one of those like it's like one of those pistons that fires off that doesn't necessarily have to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
It's like when
See,
some people watch
fantasy's
like
kind of-
Star Wars, they see a fireball in space, and they're like, there wouldn't be fireballs in space, or they
Well,
don't say
I
that.
mean-
It's like
That's
I mean,
getting into
you-
the level of, like, sorry, go fuck yourself.
I mean, you're looking.
Well, I don't
it's
mean,
it's
like-
Star Wars, like.
I don't mean like I didn't mean to be like they're saying that. I mean like that part in your brain that says, "Hey, you know, like fire doesn't work like that in space, right?" You're like, "Shut
Well,
up."
I mean, I
Like,
think
shut up, Disco
that's-
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I mean, that's the thing. I think that's less of like a Star Wars thing. I think that's kind of a problem with a lot of fiction these days, is that people try to hold it to too much of a realism standard. In a sense, they're doing the like Reddit, well, actually, kind of dealio.
Yeah,
Could
no,
you-
it's the age
But
of the well,
yeah.
actually.
But it's
Could you
and that's
imagine?
the thing, though. It's like, go ahead, Andy.
Sorry, I was going to say, could you imagine watching a sci-fi series where there's no sound when you're out in space, but like when you're in the cockpit, you hear like the muffled like tinging or clanging or something, like the reverberating from the ship, but you don't hear like your typical sci-fi sounds, you know?
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? Everyone that always complains about the sound in space argument, it's always good sound that they're complaining about. Like, people complain about that with Homeworld, but Homeworld has some of the best sound effects for space combat.
Yeah, when, again, you are trying to heighten reality, not necessarily accurately portray reality.
Yeah.
There are sounds that were used in the production of, I think it was Band of Brothers, no, Saving Private Ryan. In Saving Private Ryan, that apparently a lot of the like critics said like, you know, the sound production is too abstract, it's too whatever, like it doesn't feel real. Except all the war veterans who watched the movie, who said whatever the artist was doing with all those abstract sounds, it felt like war. It was like getting into them.
I mean, that's another part of it, too, is you have people that think they know, that think they're experts, that try to claim stuff when it's actually not that case, you know. But
And
that's,
Bruce-
I mean, and that's a whole can of worms.
Yeah, Brewster gets into suspension of disbelief, to my point about, you know, having a fruit available in a fantasy land that shouldn't be there, or
Yeah.
a modern electronic have different value in
Yeah.
what they will break with.
It's like I know The Expanse is supposed to be very much like a more realistic feeling sci-fi setting. I'm not going to complain when a ship gets clapped with a railgun and explodes and you hear the sound effects of that. That's great. It gives you the power of what you're dealing with. Like,
And also, in reverse, this is not to say that things that try to be realistic are bad.
oh
It's
no,
just
no,
that-
not by any stretch. I stuff that manages to feel real while still being fiction. Like I salute people for being able to have that level of attention to detail. You know, not to go back to The Expanse again, but I mean, it really is. I like the way that it's been described, where it's essentially like soft sci-fi with work boots on.
Oh no,
It's Yeah. It's like
No,
meant to be
sorry,
believable.
finish your point.
It's meant to feel believable. It's not necessarily meant to be completely accurate. Like, you have ships designed so they can utilize thrust gravity, for example, versus like a, just like a gravity field or whatever you would do. But you also have like, everything feels like lived in and things. It feels like a space you could walk into and like, I am on the bridge of a ship.
Yeah. One of the things Baron of Derpshire says is the funny thing is having something in the ship fake the combat sounds would probably help the pilots, as I feel flying in near silent void would cause massive combat issues.
Honestly, that is an excellent point, because silence can be very psychologically taxing on people. You don't think so?
Well,
Like,
although... Sorry, I'll let you finish your point. I'll just get mine out.
all I was going to say is, like, imagine being on a submarine in combat underwater, and how tense that would be, just being there, not hearing anything coming towards you other than, like, maybe, like, the sounds of the bridge and, like, the sonar and everything.
Well, the engine of your ship is also going to carry quite a bit.
That as well,
You
yeah.
could probably feel the depth charges, even though they're like hundreds of feet away. Just that shock wave.
In the actual ocean, yes, but if you're in space, like, it would be minus the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be
Also,
punishingly silent.
Side note, I have only seen clips of it online recently, but I will say I really like the stuff you see in the movie Greyhound. I don't know how realistic it is in terms of, like, naval combat. There's definitely, like, some scenes there where they pull some Fast and Furious shit, but it's interesting to see, like, you have the guys on the bridge that are, like, listening on sonar, or there's specifically a guy on the bridge that has a headset, and he's communicating with, like, the CIC downstairs, who's relaying information that he relays to the captain, who's up on the bridge and, like, standing out on the side, like, out in the ocean, like, in the Atlantic Ocean, like, on the way to Russia. It's cold and freezing out there. He's, like, got binoculars, and he's, like, getting information relayed from the CIC, who's, like, listening with sonar and things. And it's so cool to see. Like,
Yeah. And yeah, like, The Expanse and Firefly both did a good job with the sort of intentionally silent soundscape in space. And that's all good and well. I think it's more, this is, at some point, we're all kind of dancing around complaining about the La Reddit, well, actually, where it's like, please stop trying to be discount Neil deGrasse Tyson and let us enjoy this.
honestly, that's kind of my takeaway with a lot of it. I really get kind of tired of the Will Actually, and I realize that I'm kind of a hypocrite saying that, because there's times where I can be the Will Actually guy.
Yeah, we're all the well actually guy.
Yeah. But
especially
it's yeah. He keeps talking to me
You
about
ever
reptilians
snitch on
and shit.
yourself in a D&D game?
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
what?
Repeat?
I said, have you ever snitch on yourself in a D&D game?
I thought you said you were shit on yourself in a D&D game. I'm like, I've got some questions,
I mean,
Andy.
I haven't done that.
I haven't shit on myself, but
It's
definitely
like
questionable
sometimes, like,
things
I
at
think I'm
tabletop.
supposed to have like a -2 bonus here.
Thanks to Whacker, I got teabagged by a Trandoshan in our Star Wars game.
Last night I creeped out the party in our Fallout game because they finally realized that my character's actually crazy.
Oh, wonderful.
So there was this build-up over several sessions of we were going to make it to my character's house. Just it happened to be on the way to where we were going, and, you know, it's a few sessions of, you know, various quests and so forth. And we finally get to where we're going to get to the house, and my character is, like, you know, talking about how glad he is that he'll get to see his wife and daughter, and so forth. And bearing in mind that this is a Fallout game, when the party finally gets to the cabin in the back of the town, and he goes in, and you hear him start, you know, like, making all the father noises, like, there's my little girl, and so forth. And they come in, and he is mimicking the motion of holding a child,
Oh.
but there's no one there, and the entire
Oh,
house
no.
is, like, dust-coated, and they see two crosses in the yard outside, and he's introducing them to his wife and daughter, and they all realize, like, they play along, but they know there's no one there.
This is his
And then when he
house,
goes out-
and it's like, oh.
Yeah, and when they go outside and they see him kneel in front of the crosses, he just goes catatonic. So while they're kind of letting him recover, they start going through the house, and this was the part that made me really, really happy, which was the party had seen him, take his clothing off before because he had to get re-armored, redressed, etc. And they had seen that his body was extremely scarred to where it kind of beggared belief, surviving in that kind of setting. And when they looked at the pictures of the from within the house, there were pictures of him that was clearly him, and with a wife and child, that were all pre-war.
Oh. So
And this is 200 years post-war.
So you're a ghoul of some kind. Interesting.
Or something like that, because he doesn't have the ghoulification going.
Ah, okay. Wow, that's... I mean,
So-
that's fun when you pull shit off like that in tabletop.
Yeah, and that's been 7 or 8 sessions in the making, and I'm super pleased with myself.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Especially because otherwise he's the down-to-earth survivalistic one.
Yeah, now it's just like, oh, you thought I was the sane one. Joke's on you. I'm crazy.
Yep.
Tabletop can be fun like that. Man, I can't wait for us to put out our Star Wars game. I keep saying it, but it's just like the bits that Alien's been sharing with me while he's been editing is just like, oh man. I also forget a lot of the shit that I said and did in that game. I'm like, oh fuck.
Edgar says the Star Wars game needs to go on a podcast. Seriously, we keep hearing about it, you teens.
It is. I feel like I should probably plug this. I am on the Aux Unplugged podcast. You can find it on Spotify. It is the official, unofficial podcast of the BPL Aux, which is the auxiliary. It's the larger community outside the BPL proper. And it's me and my co-hosts on there, and we have been putting our tabletop games up there, and this will be the latest one that's going up there. I'm not sure when it will, but I will let people know when it does. But
and I just realized that Mercury Alpha X tried to use my own magic against me.
Nah.
He came here to talk about these prices.
The student has become the master.
Whacker is currently working on some of his stuff with arranging for his move.
Yeah, he's been pretty busy.
Is.
So he's not.
He might appear later, but he's given the hours and such. He's going to be on daytime streams less and less. Me and Chief streams, he's more available because those are Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, I only stream on Tuesdays, so it's not as convenient for him to be on nowadays, given his new situation and everything.
Ed says, speaking of the Ox podcast, the latest one was great.
I actually forget what the latest one was. Oh, it was the fake Star Wars, where we just came up with a bunch of cursed Star Wars shit. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I like the ones where you just kind of improv with stuff.
Yeah.
We'll just...
Oh, right, I forgot that Ramshackle was the one who got DQ'd. I will pass your bachal along to him.
That was another thing I wanted to draw today. Maybe we'll get to it still, I don't know. But there's something somebody told me about today that I was like, I need to draw that at some point. See, the problem with shading is, like, I never know when to say done. I'm also not, like, lifelike detail with shading, because I do not have that kind of patience.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're probably trying to go far enough to where the figures don't look flat.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I might add a highlight layer to this at points. I'm not going to go super crazy on it versus, like, other stuff I've done, but... You know, it might help to have, like, a little bit of highlights, like, you know, like, on the metal especially, or, you know, on maybe just the hair and things. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet.
I know this is going to sound weird, but maybe look at some animes and cartoons, and I'm particularly thinking of, like, the Batman ones, and see, like, the minimum amount of shading they, like,
well,
put. Because I remember when I was drawing and learning how to draw, like, there were certain times where they had, like, I call them triangles, but, like, certain shapes on bodies that would be darker.
That's cell shading, actually, so...
Ah.
Yes, cell shading is kind of what you more see with cartoons and things, and I should probably learn how to do that better, especially considering I want to do a comic project, and it's going to be way less time-consuming to do so, probably. But it's just, I don't know. Part of that, too, is just kind of getting used to doing it, and I don't know. I've tried it before, and it just doesn't... I kind of like the softer shadows, if I'm honest. It appeals to me more when it comes to shading. At least in my own work. I like cartoons and stuff, I can definitely appreciate it. I just don't think I'm like the best at doing it. I'll be honest, it's like I didn't really like do a lot of shading and coloring with my drawings until honestly like till like 2017. You know, that's really when I started picking up doing digital art and stuff, because I'd done a bit of it before, but a lot of it was just me sketching in sketchbooks and things, you know. Mostly because I was kind of like self-conscious to start doing it more as like a, you know, like a more serious venture versus just sketching.
Yep. I have actually been learning a strange about the work that goes into writing musicals, because, well, I'm doing one right now. But also specifically, kind of the mechanics of a musical, because there are songs in musicals, and I will say I still hate them, but I understand now why some of them are put in. But if you ever hear me rant about musicals, parentheses, rant incoming, I'm going to use Hunchback of Notre Dame for an example. I assume you've both seen that?
No.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so,
just real quick story. I hate musicals. I don't like listening to them, so continue.
Okay, no, that's completely fair. But yeah, the thing in the case of Hunchback of Notre Dame, just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about, is it's very much done in sort of a Gothic, Baroque style. It's very medieval music, pipe organs, church bells, etc.
Yeah.
And most of the music fits that aesthetic, except one song in the middle called A Guy Like You, where it's basically like a smooth jazz piece, in which the sort of cartoonish gargoyles sing to the main character about how he's not a bad guy and that he's actually great, and someday somebody will recognize that, you know, whatever. And it's immersion breaking. It rips you out of the otherwise generally serious adventure. Yes, adventurous at times, but mostly serious and dramatic tone of the rest of the musical. Whereas there's an equivalent in, say, Aladdin, the genie song "Never Had a Friend Like Me," where that works in the context because the rest of the music in that musical is already very bombastic, and Genie is a character that is kind of already set to break certain conventions like that. But what I then learned was why it is a song like that exists. And it's, quite frankly, much like in art you have negative space, you know? You want to have breaks even in the positive space and the negative space where the tone of a thing changes, much like you do in a movie or much like you do in an album. You want that tonal change, and it led me to the strangest realization that the musical that is probably plagued with the most of these kind of songs is otherwise one of the darker musicals, which is Sweeney Todd. And it's like, oh yeah. And because like 4 or 5 of the songs in it are these, what I would typically think of as like very overly happy, to the point of almost vapid musical sequences that only really work because A, the character is deeply mentally disturbed, and you can see that the smiles are kind of fake, but B, that you kind of need those upbeat pieces because the rest of that is a story about a serial killer.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's that realization of, okay, these actually serve a purpose, and it's why I like a few of them, but by and large, I've hated them. Sorry, once again, I'm getting a phone call.
Oh, you're fine.
I'll be right back.
I could swear Cannibal the Musical is a thing. There are some interesting musicals out there. I don't particularly like them, but I can definitely appreciate the work that goes into them. So while Storm is gone, Andy, back to aliens. No.
Oh.
Oh my god, I fucking roofer calling on my business phone.
Oh, on your business phone? Why?
Yeah, I have a separate phone number for running the studio. And they're calling me about like wanting to get my roof inspected. It's like, fuck off.
I honestly, like, if I don't know the number, I just let it go, or just click off, because it's like, if it's important enough, they'll leave a fucking voicemail. I'm not gonna just pick up random people, because 9 times out of 10, it's just like a bot call or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, and this is something I've had to do recently, because I do have a DeviantArt that I do post on it from time to time. I don't use it too much these days, because, you know, it's DeviantArt. My god, the amount of pornography. But I digress.
Yeah.
You should move to Tumblr!
Also,
No,
UNC Samurai says the Wackarita is Malort and Baja Blast, and Cannibal is a rather tender subject.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Cartoula
sometimes
Boy
it's a medium rare.
Yeah, Cartoula Boy has done musicals before. And Ninja Turtle says, I thought the Wackarita was made with original Coca-Cola. And whatever you were saying earlier, Ed Goss says, preach it, Crispy.
I'm trying to remember what I said now, because I kind of forgot.
No, but my boss does.
Oh, cool.
The whole phone thing, maybe. But anyway, back to what the DeviantArt thing. I get messages from time to time from people, like note comments, where it's like people wanted to use my stuff as reference. And the first time I did that, like, the guy wanted to pay me for using it, and I was like, you don't have to pay me to use my work as reference. Like, no, I need to make sure you get paid. And that's like immediately like sketched out by that, because it's like, why are you that insistent on paying me? So it's like, that was definitely a scam. And I just got another one of those today where someone wanted to use my work as reference. I'm like, no, don't contact me again.
Yep.
Right? I hate just to be like that, but it's like, I don't trust that shit. Like, if it's just like a random comment, especially from like a profile that just seems really sketchy to begin with, it's like, yeah, I'm at that point now where like I don't want to trust, just if I don't know the person, I don't really want to trust it, because 9 times out of 10 it's like a bot or something.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm the kind of person, like, if people come to me with that kind of stuff, like, I'm more than willing to, like, you know, to be accommodating with it. Like, if you want to use my work as reference for something, like, go ahead. Like, I don't care. Just, you know, if you do use it and someone asks about it, just, like, give credit. That's all I ask, you know. I don't expect people to pay.
But please be a human if you ask.
Oh, yes. Do not put my work into an AI. If I find out someone puts my work into an AI machine, when they go home, I'm going to be under their bed.
And don't let your phone call start with that whoop sound, because, like, that makes me think you're, like, a machine or you're recording or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it usually is indicative of that. But
I mean, the only other thing it could be indicative of is these prices!
There it is. God damn it.
Maybe I should make, like, an audio file that's, like, basically sounds like the screams of the lost in the dam. And whenever I get a phone call like that, I just, like, put it up to the computer and start playing it.
So,
No, go ahead.
No, you first.
Oh, I wasn't going to say just act like an old person. Just, hey, are you my grandson?
My favorite one is to start preaching to them from the Book of John or the Psalms or something.
Yeah, remember that the next time I get a call about my gas that I don't have.
Yeah, just have a copy of the Book of Mormon on hand or something.
Oh my god.
or Torah, or hell, if you want to be really exotic, have like some of the Vedic scriptures.
The Book of Eli.
Yes, that's a good movie.
Just start reading Woody's Got Wood to them.
Oh my god.
That will absolutely get you spaced in Space Station. That happened to me, and I was like, I helped. I was like, they spaced me. I was like, well, you did read Woody's Got Wood over the P. I'm like, okay, you got me there.
I finally did my first session of Space Station 14 a few days ago. In the first round, I died rather quickly because
as expected.
I didn't realize that I was in an area that was going to decompress. But then I was allowed to become a ghost and haunt somebody's personal device. So I just, as they were walking around, I kept having their personal device playing, like "Never Gonna Give You Up," "One Winged Angel," "I Want It That Way" by the Backstreet Boys. Just whatever MIDI songs I could find.
Honestly, the ghost rolls are the most fun. Like, one of my favorite rounds I did in Space Station 14 was I wonder if anyone in chat was there for that. I was Judge Johnny Cab. I respawned as a cab and I was driving people around the station, and then they asked if I wanted to be the judge in a murder case, and I was like, why not? So I'm literally like a taxi, like in the judge's stand as we're having it's in the bar too. So we're like presenting evidence and things, and at the end I was like, I find the defendant handsome, also guilty.
That's great.
That was such a fun round.
The second round that I got to play, I was the psychologist, and I think that's going to be the role I take for going forward.
Oh no!
If possible.
Oh,
and
no.
I was, trying to give people advice, but then of course shit kept happening, so people kept running out of the sessions. One of the musicians ended up just taking his instrument and joining the band. And there comes a point where we realize there's not going to be any stopping the nuke from going off. And so, we're standing there, and one of them was like, "Gentlemen, it's been my honor to play with you." And
I was going to say, did you guys do the Titanic?
The join band button, and it starts playing "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Oh, hell yeah.
And we get to the height of the chorus, like, "Seasons don't fear the Reaper, nor do the..." And then the explosion happens and takes out the entire station.
That's fucking great. Yeah, honestly, bar band is another fun one that I did. The bar band a couple of times. We had a lot of fun doing that. And then it got broken up by most of us getting shot and having to be dragged to medbay, but it was still a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I spent a lot of that session also trying to find food.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I was imagining, like, if I were a judge in that game, I'd want people to be in on it, like, says, "I sentenced you to the paddy wagon," and like they're like, "What?" And then later on they'll find out that the paddy wagon is when I send them to be ground up into ground beef and turn into hamburgers that everyone in the station will eat. And people start disappearing. It's like that episode of The Simpsons. It's like, for less and less crimes, you get sent to...
Oh yeah, the one where they start cannibalizing the students.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fucking Ghostbuster. Or not Ghostbusters.
I send you to the paddy wagon.
Story.
It was one of their Halloween specials.
Goosebumps. That's it, Goosebumps. Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, there's not often court cases in Space Station, usually because they're like the prime target to get bombed with shit. Like,
Suddenly I feel like we need more court cases in Space Station.
Oh no, it's absolutely funny when it happens. Don't get like Texas definitely done court cases that absolutely have gotten bombed.
He did one in the middle of one of the rounds that I edited the video for. The guy was forced to fight 50 monkeys in a cage.
Oh yeah.
The monkeys got out.
Oh, because there's 50 of them, and then they're gonna start biting people. Because chances are they're probably like controlled by people.
Yep.
There was one time Boat Bomber was a monkey, and he was just like fucking up the entirety of security in the bar. It was great, just running around biting people.
That
sounds appropriate. I forget if they shot him or not. I'm just like standing there watching this. Is like, this is fucking wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to get back into playing Space Man. It's been too long.
Yes.
Can you give that man rosy red cheeks?
This guy?
Yeah.
Well, he is from Diner Space.
And
So probably.
and then put a gnome hat on him.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing that.
I'm only going to be able to make the matches occasionally because they're usually either Friday or Saturday night. So I'm either running my
Yeah.
game or I'm in Goat's game.
I thought they did. Maybe they moved the Wednesday night ones because they had those for a while.
Wait, do we have a Wednesday night one?
I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong.
Then I'm
Maybe
fucking in
they
if
changed it.
it's still the case.
I'm
I
sure-
still don't know the schedules yet. Like I get the distinct feeling that the Legion allows you to learn at your own pace. Parentheses, I'm a retard.
Yeah, pretty much. I have not touched engineering because I know that's not going to end well. Because when I tried engineering on Space Station 13, I let loose the Singulo.
Ah, yes. Will was threatening to teach me how to do that.
Yeah, no, it's it'll fuck up the station. That's right. That is the engine on the station in Space Station 14, which is great because I love it as a thing in the game. Because it's like maybe it'll get out and just destroy half the station. Maybe it won't. You gotta
At
babysit
least
it. Make
till
sure it doesn't happen.
Singulo's released. There's a lot more, as I've been editing those videos and finally playing it, there's a lot more of the songs from the stuff that I was helping Goat with that makes sense to me now. Like, I always sort of
Oh, yeah.
knew, but it's just like, oh, so that's not just a monster, that's, oh.
Yeah, no, Lord
Oh.
Singuloth hungers. Lord Singuloth must feed.
Yep. So, I've been watching an anime that I think you might like, Crispy, might being the operative word.
What is it?
So it was, well, actually, one of the versions of it is the one I mentioned earlier with the weird rotoscoping.
Oh, yeah.
But it's called Gigage no Kitaro, which is...
Say that 5 times
Yeah.
fast.
So it's the thing where Japanese do automatopoeia sounds. And so
Yeah,
it's
that-
supposed to be creepy, because it's supposed to sound like the voice of a witch cackling.
Huh. Interesting.
But it's an anime centered largely around yokai, which is... It's not an exact translation, because I think the word's closer to, like, ghost. But in use, it basically is functionally cryptids. It's demons, ghosts, monsters of any kind, fairies, etc.
I mean,
So it's a
I'll
very
watch an
broad
episode or two
category.
just to see what it's like.
Mhm.
You know,
But the other way I've found to describe it, though, and this is where I find it a little funny to me, is it's almost like if Elric Imelda or not Elric Imelda Geralt of Rivia was raised by Mr. Rogers.
Oh.
It's got like these very dark monsters and this like really hard-hitting storytelling of like people and their personal demons and the shit people are willing to do to other humans.
Just turns
and
into Caesar
then-
Milan, the Cryptid Whisperer.
Yeah, but then at the same time, the main characters always have this, like, right, this is a show technically for kids, and there's always the nice little lesson wrapped up at the end, and the father figure is all, like, wise and shit. And wholesome.
I still want to watch more Ghost Stories. I love that one, just because the fucking translations.
Mm-mm.
Half of which we probably can't say on stream.
Yep. But yeah. So, I thought you would find that one interesting.
I'll take a look at it. If I find an
Oh,
anime
wow.
where it strikes me right, I'm down to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm also just kind of bad at just sitting down and watching TV shows too.
Also, the fact that it's an old anime, so it's been remade multiple times. It's like the manga's from the 50s. It was originally made in the 60s. So bearing this in mind, and this is in the original story, this thing was metal before metal, because like the story is a man and a woman die. Their child is born from the mother's corpse and climbs out of the grave. And the father, not wanting his child to grow up alone, manages to put all of his essence into the last part of him that hasn't rotted, his eyeball. And the eyeball also climbs out of the grave, and so now you have this little boy being raised by an eyeball that knows about the spirit world.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And then the boy is taken in by ghosts in the forest to be raised as one of them.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be a normal member of society. Definitely not going to be like any sort of serial killer or anything.
Well,
Hey, what's the Paul doing here?
it gets a little serial killerish at times, but actually he's a good guy, because the father was also a good guy, so he like actually raises him correctly. But it's still like this is a child soldier. He's killing monsters to keep humanity safe.
Well, you gotta
The
think
show
of
does
it.
how
Once in a
to.
while, the kid comes down from the mountain he spent his whole life.
Yep.
I
comes-
didn't mean to say it like that was the story. I mean like that's the shit.
Yeah, he comes
No.
down from the mountain to just interact with the town every once in a while, like Ted Kaczynski.
A lot of the characters are like Ted Kaczynski.
Oh, really? They get really interesting with their arts and crafts project?
Yes. Oh, well, okay, so here's the thing. It's a show about, all that stuff, but it's like, once you see that the show has a lot of metaphor going on, it's like, and today we're dealing with drug addiction. And today we're dealing with the loneliness epidemic of Japan. And today
So
we're
it's like the
dealing
most
with...
fucked up version of Sesame Street possible. I'm digging it.
Oh, yes. Yeah. What was it?
Yeah,
Like
we're going to the
social
suicide
media...
forest.
Social media addiction.
Interesting.
And it's stuff like that, like to the point where one episode deals in human trafficking.
Okay. Just getting real into the deep shit.
And then like there's an episode where a group of ghosts are trying to drag another ghost to hell, and the main characters aren't stopping it. They are trying to keep human beings safe from it as it's happening.
Yeah.
And you learn the one ghost is like a really overbearing CEO, and the other ghosts that are trying to drag him to hell are the people who committed suicide because of him.
Oh.
And it's like,
See,
oh
if
my
I was in
God.
hell, I'd be like, we don't want him here. You can keep him.
Now, bearing in mind
It's
this
like,
is
we're
Japanese
demons
hell,
in
so
hell,
it's
but
not-
Six Sigma is
Yeah.
just the devil.
Yeah. So it's very weird that way.
I mean, it sounds interesting. Like I said, I'd watch an episode or two just to see what it's like, you know.
Oh yeah.
I'll at least give it a cursory glance. I mean, there's some animes where I'm like, I see like an episode, I'm like, yeah, I know I'm not gonna like this, you know. But
Yeah. And it may not be your thing, because again, it's very much a kid show, but it's
yeah,
a kid show in
that's
the same way that German fairy tales used to be for children.
very
It's
much
a
cautionary
Japanese
tale.
kid show.
Yeah.
Hold on, I must change music real
I'm
quick.
trying to
Side
find
note:
out-
if anybody can find me some like more like royalty-free music that's like longer, like hour or longer playlists or like YouTube videos where it's that kind of music that I was just playing, like I would very much appreciate it because I'd rather that than lo-fi stuff personally. I like if I could play the kinds of music I want to on here, I would, but unfortunately Twitch no like.
Also, oh, it's Halion.
Oh, hello, Halion.
Hello, Halion. So
I was telling him about our Star Wars game earlier.
I haven't watched any of it, but I have watched a few like documentaries on it or video essays. There's a series, an old series from like the 80s to the 90s called The Laughing Salesman,
Huh.
and it's this big old, this is very like weird smiling man, and he goes around, and it's kind of like basically the emphasis is like you're making a deal with the devil, and it's like a moralistic story of like it's better to be happy with what you got than to wish for things or something like that. Because like he's very much like, oh, you wish for this, well, and he usually gives you an ultimatum like you can't do this.
And that's
you know,
just like that Wishmaster movie series, but more episodes.
yeah. And
Although I don't think they had a gin demon in that sounded like he smoked Marlboro Reds every day. Side note: my wife and I go to a horror movie convention every year down in Gettysburg called Creature Feature, and this past year when we went, they were doing a live screening of Wishmaster with the guy that was the gin demon in that, and it was great because he was doing the voices at points, just like
Yeah.
as we're talking in the movies, and he was like giving such funny commentary. Like, I love when you get, like, live commentary for stuff like that, and, like, the people are really into it.
Yeah.
Like, the one I was at for Velocipaster was pretty great, because it's like, yeah, we were gonna put in, like, an actual car explosion here, but we left in, like, the words VFX car on fire, and people thought it were funny, so we kept it in. Just, like, I love shit like that so much.
Mm-hmm. Also, actually, now that I think about it, I think I did tell you a little bit about this anime last week because
If you did, I completely forgot because
in the opening episode they make it very clear that the like character that they're lambasting as sort of this bad person is like essentially Logan Paul.
Oh, now that I remember it, because you were mentioning like the Suicide Forest, and it was like, yeah, they were pretty pissed at him about that. I'm like, oh, were they?
Yeah. Also, I should say this because I can't remember what the button is, but remember, ladies and gentlemen, if something like that is a problem you're suffering from, there is help out there.
Yes. Please, like, if you're dealing with shit, like, please talk to somebody. Like, it helps so much to just be able to get that stuff out in the open.
Yeah, and it just hit me like we're talking about a heavy subject here. Like,
no, we are. No, well, I mean, we're more talking in the sense of like someone that essentially is just like making fun of that, and just people kind of being like, well, fuck you. Like, this is something that's serious, and you can't just like go there and just make a stupid YouTube video of you pog champing its shit.
Yeah,
you know?
thank you, Silicon and Ed. That I couldn't remember the command.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we had that until I was watching House of Cards stream the other day, because...
I don't know because I'm not paying it. I literally have like barely glanced at stream during this entire... or at chat during this entire stream, so...
Yeah, no, and that's my job.
No,
and
that's
Andy's. Yep. But...
Andy, when are we playing more Repo?
I don't know.
You, me, and Hammer. We gotta do another round. Just say fucking screaming. I just remembered that.
I haven't played it by myself in a while, but yeah, I'm down with Repo.
Like I want to get like a Repo crew together because that was pretty fun to play that, and it just got really stupid at points. And unlike Kletka, I'm not afraid of stepping on a landmine every 5 feet, because I died to so many fucking landmines in Kletka.
I mean, the only way you're gonna have landmines in that game is if a friend starts buying them and dropping them everywhere.
Oh yeah, I remember our shenanigans in the store. We were just like, what does this do? Just throwing grenades around.
I wish there was like a no permadeath option.
I honestly I feel like that kind of takes away from the game.
True.
I understand.
Like level 10, it's like, or level 11, they start spawning like lots and lots of monsters. Like it's a damn yokai parade at some points where you just get 5 monsters walking in one room. It's like, no!
It's very much like Lethal Company in a lot of respects. I mean, it is very much the same style of game, so makes sense.
Yes.
Which, man,
I normally don't like they usually call them roguelikes, but like permadeath games. Like if I spend hours and hours playing a game and I mess up and my game is deleted, like I tend to get, well, I know it's wrong, but I get a little pissy.
Most roguelikes where you're playing with friends and stuff, like, you can respawn. Like, I mean, that you can do that in Repo too. It's just, you know, you gotta usually pay for it or something. And if you're playing by yourself, obviously that's not gonna happen. But like, I enjoy playing Risk of Rain too. Like, I haven't played that in a while. Although part of that is because I don't know what the state of the game is these days, because I've heard a lot of bad stuff happen with it because they sold it to Gearbox and Gearbox kind of ruined it. Maybe I'm wrong. But I enjoyed playing that. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. But I mean, most of what I've been playing these days is either the car game everyone's doing, or I've been playing a lot of RimWorld. I just am like, I can't escape RimWorld. It's just kind of my comfort game at this point. Like, it's something I can just kind of drop down and just chill out and voice chat, just playing away with that like a model train set while we're just hanging out.
I finished today just before we stream. I finished Citizen Sleeper 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the dice system in that game. I like it better in 1 because in 2 they had like stress and broken dice and stuff like that. But it's not really that difficult.
Yeah.
But basically, like, imagine when you play a D&D game, you just roll 6 dice, and those are the dice you use throughout the game.
Interesting.
I got a 6, a 20, an 18, a 14, and a 12. You might think, why would I ever use this, like, 2? And it's like, well, you know, if it doesn't matter, or...
Oh.
Sometimes there are
sorry.
abilities that, like, add to it, like... And in Sleeper Citizen, like, the most you can get is +2 to a skill, so...
Yeah.
A 4 can become a 6, which is 100%, you know, positive.
So, I just noticed there's a couple novels that appeared in chat just now. Cartula Boy says, y'all mentioned a story about a boy selling his happiness to the devil or something. Was it Tim Thaler? Because that's a German book from the 60s. Of course,
it was the
that's a
Kiss
German
Psycho
book.
Circus comic. No, I'm kidding.
Brewster says, one of the things I would really like to see more of is non-evil undead and the cultural implications and impact of that. Imagine a gilded skeleton, great-great-grandmother wearing a porcelain mask and cloth padding, doting on and taking care of the local town's orphans. Actually, that's kind of cool.
I do like that visual. I also just imagine it like she sounds like they're selling. What do they say? They're selling chocolates, like Worm Lady from SpongeBob. Have some more tea, honey.
Well, and if you like that kind of thing, you should look into not just Kitaro, but yokai anime in general, because it kind of comes from that Shinto perspective of these aren't evil or good, they're otherworldly. Some of them are evil, some of them are good, etc.
Sir, you spilled
Yeah.
bleach on your britches.
Yeah. Hippocampus Hamster says, even with all its weirdness, I love the setting for Galtan in Pathfinder. 18th century France after the revolution, except fantasy, and they never settled on a new government. The council running the city, or running the country, changes leaders every other week, if they're particularly bad, and is staffed by every weirdo and psychopath imaginable. It's just a fun place for a clueless party to enter and learn, oh, this week baths have been outlawed.
Why am I thinking of Waffle House
Yep.
when I hear the description of this?
I mean,
setting?
it sounds like Waffle House.
I just thought of an idea for like a series or a story. So it's like
Yeah.
you see these aristocrats in this like castle or mansion, and you know that you pretty much find out real quick that they're just horrible, terrible people, and you kind of learn their story. But near the end of the series, you find out that they're actually kind of trapped inside of this castle, but they don't know it. It's like these people are crazy. Let's just let them think they have all the power and authority they want. Let them live together.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea. That definitely could be like a Twilight Zone kind of dealio.
This is where someone in chat says, "Oh, there's a story like that. It was on Netflix." And
Hey man, nothing is new under the sun. Like at a certain point, who gives a shit about originality? Just make it.
You know,
fun.
if I knew the name of the guy that quoted that, I would be like, "Shut up, Brendelstein."
Yep. Risk of Rain 2 was decent when it launched, but I wouldn't call it a must-play, to be honest. Fun for a couple evenings, not worth doing all the unlocks. Says
Oh no, not
Logic
every
Nullifier.
day. Yeah, definitely not. It's definitely one that I can take in spurts. It's like I enjoy Helldivers too. Don't get me wrong. It's like, but I can only take so much of that game because I am not someone that likes to grind shit.
Cartula Boy says, sounds like 1920s Estonia, to be honest. At the worst point, they had a new constitution every few weeks, like a fully brand new constitution because they couldn't decide on anything.
God, I would hate to be those lawyers.
A lot of early 1900s countries were going through that shit.
You know, it's thanks to Andrew Jackson's that they can't have weapons inside of Parliament anymore.
You know?
You know what?
Politics
Let's
would be
get
more
on
interesting
sock
if
and
they did.
boppers. Like debate by sock and bopper, I think, is something that would be acceptable.
Or paintball gun. But no,
Wait,
moving
wait.
swiftly along.
Wait, what if there's like one of those Eastern European countries and like you go into their parliament and there's a table with Rock'em Sock'em robots. And
Oh, dude, I was gonna say Hungry Hungry Hippos. That also works.
no, Rock'em Sock'em robots. That's how they settle debates. It's like they have to sit at the table, and it's like. I don't know whether to make it secret or televised. Which one would be better?
Yes.
I'm all for transparency in government. Cartula Boy says, "Hear me out. Debate Nerf war or debate by Nerf war." Let's see. I did want to share this one with you, Crispy.
Yeah.
So there's a guy who, I've started reading his stuff recently because of my jumping into all these animes about this kind of Japanese folkloric stuff.
Yeah.
That actually goes into the beliefs about these creatures and so forth. And so I want to read the way this guy presents this stuff for you because it's just great. So Wan Yudo. Translation: Wheel Priest. Habitat: Hell. Encountered on roads and mountain passes and occasionally villages. Diet: souls, occasionally snacks on babies. So
That's a great Tinder profile.
So I want you to imagine then a wheel, like for an ox cart, but all of the spokes of the wheel are merging inside of some guy's severed head,
Oh,
and the wheel is on fire,
That's fucking metal as shit.
and it rolls around, grabbing the souls of the damned and dragging them to hell. Now, bearing in mind that Japanese hell is a little bit different from Western hell in that it's not always a bad thing, ? It's not a good thing. But
Either way, Turbo Lover is playing in my mind right now. But continue.
But the famous story, or legend that is written down is, have a look at your own child. She looked back at her baby who was screaming on the floor in a pool of blood. Both its legs had been completely torn from its body. When she looked back, the child's legs were in its mouth, being eaten by the mad, grinning monster.
Metal.
Japanese
Jesus.
folklores, ladies and gentlemen.
It sounds so fun. Let's see here. I'm experimenting with different lighting techniques for this.
How many of them are stories about people getting married to monsters?
Actually, there's quite a few of those.
I
know.
married a sea bear.
What was the one about the
Wait,
spider
everyone-
lady?
Where a guy had to marry a moomin, which I didn't know was Japanese folklore. I thought that was Scandinavian or something.
So yeah, there's the
know.
Yoragumo is a spider that takes the form of a woman and will convince men to marry her, and then she ends up eating them.
Oh, that's mean.
Wow. I wonder if that's going to be a
girl dinner.
recurring theme in these stories, Storm Song.
Not all of them. Some of them have a happy ending. That one just comes to mind.
Oh, I bet they have a happy ending.
I know the snow princess, she eats you.
Yeah, in some versions, because you have to remember Japan was only a unified country historically relatively recently, parentheses past 400 years. A lot of these myths were very regional. So the Okayama version versus the Sekigahara version versus the Kyoto version, etc. So an example of a positivistic one is fox spirits would often take human wives, and while they would use trickery to get their wife, they would also basically be the bestest husband ever because they wanted to keep their amazing wife.
Yeah, I believe there's a series of animated documentaries out there that probably go into that sort of thing.
There are surprising
Crispy.
a lot of
Don't worry
animes
about it.
where... Sorry, go ahead.
Huh? No, don't worry about it.
I was going to say, there's a surprising lot of stories where basically it's girlfriend or wife fell from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's walking to school or something, and there's some, a lady just.
It's
falls
almost
out
like
of
the
the
people
sky
that
onto them.
write these stories are lonely and would like to have company.
Oh yeah, well, sorry about that, Crispy.
Now, I am going to...
I'm speaking from a place of experience, so I'm not talking shit.
Moomins are Finnish, written by a Swedish-speaking Finn, Tove Jansson, really popular in Japan.
I wonder if
Interesting.
they're popular because of the cartoon series. The one that Tim says was really creepy because of that one monster.
I mean, that doesn't narrow it down.
Well, it's the one monster. It's like if it touches you, you die.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Yeah.
But, anyways,
You know, I was gonna kind of say jokingly, it's like, oh, your country's only been around for 200 years. What scary crap do you guys know? We've been around for thousands. I'd say, you want to go spend a night in the Appalachian Mountains?
Oh no, fuck that. Fuck that.
also,
Like,
I can...
America's not scary. Go to the Appalachian Mountains.
I can hear Helzalax and Paracar screaming in the background. It's Appalachian.
Appalach on these nuts.
So I'm going to read another one to you, Crispy, because this one's almost, like, worse.
Yeah.
Makuregeshi is a kind of Japanese spirit or yokai. They would come
I like
at night...
I just immediately thought of the Makageshi.
Yeah, Makuregeshi. Makuregeshi. Yes. They would come in at night while you're sleeping. And they would flip your pillow over and then leave.
That is evil. That is the most evil thing I've ever heard.
They flip the cool side over to the warm side up.
You bastards are why I wake up at 4 a.m.
That's literally it's. So this is what studying yokai is like. It could be a Wanyudo or it could be a Makuregeshi.
Have you heard of the Yule Lads storm song?
It's like the Yule Lads. Well, and
it's like SCP but Japanese.
Well, and we have these in every country. Like if you ever get into Slavic Domovoy or stuff like that, Gremlins.
I mean, I don't know. In America, we don't have a lot of like goblins that slam your door at night or eat your porridge. They
you absolutely
they
do.
knock on your door and ask you to come in so that they could haunt your place and shit. Or we got kids with black eyes.
Like the Loveland Frogmen or something like that.
Well, yeah, more what I meant is that every culture has these weird little spirit things that reside around houses and do the things and all the stuff. And
they're like malicious, but not like.
Oh wait, no, we absolutely have fantastical creatures that are beneficial. We have Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy.
We got that Ricky Tikki
Tavi.
Or something like that. A marmot that was like talking marmot that had like a lot more power than it should have.
Oh, that was Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Yeah, Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Cartula Boy says, in Estonian mythology, which is the one I know best because guess where I'm from? He's Estonian. There's a monster...
I thought he was going to say Hawaii.
Probably. There's a monster or being named the Krat, which essentially is farm tools being possessed by a spirit and coming together to create a being. You create one by making a deal with the devil at the crossroads, classic. The Krat will do whatever you ask it, but you need to keep it busy. If you don't, it will try and kill you, and to get rid of it, you need to give it an impossible task. From now on, Crispy, you are Crispy Krat.
I done half to myself.
I don't know if you were around, Storm, but I think you were around, Crispy. Do you remember when we made up the story of, we made up our own, Russian folklore where a man in the woods kills a bear, and he goes home, and, the next day, he gets a knock on the door, and it's a big, giant bear. And the bear goes, "You have killed my husband, so therefore you must become my husband." And he's like, "What?" And then, the bear becomes a big babushka woman. He's like, "Yes, we must have children now."
I mean...
I feel like I vaguely remember that.
That sounds pretty Slavic.
And she goes out and she says, "I'm gonna go get firewood." She just starts tearing trees down with her bare
white
hand.
uterus for easy birth.
Yep. Hippocampus says, "Okay, serious question to chat. Has Twitch upped the frequency of ads? Yes. Because I don't recall ads interrupting nearly this often. It just does.
Yeah.
So it's them trying to push the subscriptions.
I love extortion.
And while I can't talk about any such methods, for they clearly don't exist, I do wish there was some way that you could just, I don't know, make the ads not appear. But I
Yeah.
know nothing about such a thing.
Yeah, some way to block them or something. I don't know.
In any event, Cartula Boy says, and fun fact about the Krat, it is such a common part of our culture that the law on AI in Estonia is named the Krat Law.
I dig it. I'm also glad to hear there's countries that have AI laws. We could certainly use those here, but that's another topic of discussion.
You know, speaking of like cryptids and shit, we were like talking a lot of shit about Benjamin Franklin last night.
No, we weren't talking shit in a bad way though. We were talking shit in a good way because he was like,
Man was a troll.
he was the most rock and roll of the founding fathers. I mean,
Okay, chat. Imagine if like someone basically like brought Benjamin Franklin back to life somehow, and then he gave him a Twitter account.
Oh Christ, I forgot about this. Yeah, oh my God, there would be so...
I love this thing called the internet. It keeps telling me there are older women in my area.
I also now want to see a movie where Ben Franklin is played by Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, that's
Why
right.
Did you give Ben Franklin a vampire voice?
I don't know. You're supposed to
I
draw
thought it was
Whacker as Ben Franklin.
Oh yeah, I did want to do that at some
You
point.
make him like half bald with like long hair and
So legit, you say that jokingly, but actually now in my head, that is kind of what Franklin looked like.
I do think he could pull off a good Franklin. I'm not joking.
I think Whacker could, yeah. If he gets like the right hairstyle and the glasses.
I want to see Whacker go, or Franklin go, shit, man.
I would die. I would die laughing.
Google, stop telling me there are desperate sluts in my area. I have a mirror.
We need to get Whacker one of those like 1800 like those suits where like the socks go up to your knees.
Yeah.
What are Edwardian suits or something?
Yeah, something like that. Sure.
And a handkerchief, and he'd be like, "I do say, you may take it and eat it from my posterior." And he drops the handkerchief.
Yeah, I do know about if I'm pronouncing it right, the Helpdat. Basically farm spirits or gnomes that like managed your house or your barn. You would sacrifice food to them, usually by feeding them, let's see, this is a non-poisonous shore snake. That's interesting. But yeah, like Domovoy and other little house spirits that you kept, happy because they're your house spirits.
Do not offer them clothing.
Yes.
Don't?
Yes, if you offer them clothing, they basically go full gremlins from the movie, and they become evil, and they try to kill you. It's like it's a huge offense to them.
Interesting. God, I'm making this so much more complicated than I probably need to be, but it's just the kind of person I am.
When was the last time you've seen a fairy circle or a pixie circle?
I mean,
well, we have more of them now because we have more of them now because we've been using plastic to make like our children's like slides and such instead of cold iron.
I mean, I don't know, man. Electricity's killing gnomes and shit.
I don't get that one.
All the electricity and things is snuffing out magical energy, which is why you don't see fucking.
Oh, geez, is this
like,
Arcanum like think?
Kinda. I mean, I honestly that is a fun way to look at it. I don't think that's personally it myself, but I don't know. I might start saying things that people would look at me weirdly for.
There's the like never-ending story type of like, because less and less people believe like they're losing power and dying off.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
I mean, I believe with Brewster Buffalo, like gnomes chewing wires, like yeah, that's why I would think like they.
Oh, I could absolutely see gnomes stealing your fucking cable.
Oh God!
You're basically. Oh no!
I gotta get another hit! He starts pulling copper out of your house.
Andrew, Techie, message him right now. You know what you must do.
Oh no! What horrors are you going to tell
Meth
Techie
gnomes.
Meth. Oh,
That's where the copper in your house goes.
Just meth
So-
around.
So for everyone else's edification, back when the ox was young, and many of us were but little oxlings then, Techie ran a game for us called Super Florence. This is why there's a room in the auxiliary currently called Hyper Florence, I believe.
Yeah.
But that's the reference of that room's name is Hyper Florence, legally distinct from regular Florence, now with added goat or something like that. No, now with added goat is Thin Tim's Wheat Farm.
It's like interpretive LSD.
Yeah, but the game was us working as agents for the Gobfather, the head of the Goblin Syndicate, who was trying to corner the magical meth market.
You know what?
At one point, my character drank alchemically infused Mountain Dew, and for 15 seconds became the god of sugar-buzzed teenagers.
The sleeper.
Like, literally, he became the deity of that and had the powers of that for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Rail Wizards.
Oh yeah, that's where Rail Wizards
We
came
did
from.
we had an episode where we drew a Rail Wizard.
Yeah, we did. That was one of my favorite
Kinda
drawings
talked
they've
about
done.
it too.
Gartula Boy suggests, that blue screening is caused by gnomes.
You know what? I could see it.
Gnomes
Yeah.
or goblins? Because remember, or gremlins. Gremlins are like, in American folklore, gremlins are like the type that like go into machinery and like to fuck them up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Yeah, another, the reason behind some of those names, Hippocampus, that's why Hyperflorence is named that. Thin Tim's Wheat Farm was sort of a joke towards White Tom's Bean House, but Tim, a member of the Oxen Legion, who is Polish and known for making very strange goblin noises that the Polish are confused by.
Yeah, it's I think it's like echolocation that the Polish have. I'm not quite sure.
He's the one that told us that chickens are horrible, terrible creatures, and we shouldn't feel bad about eating them.
Yeah, no,
That
that
sounds like
that
something
sounds
he would
like
say.
that sounds like Polish wisdom.
You know what? You need to do a podcast about don't feel bad about eating chickens and just have Tim tell you stories.
Oh, I would
This
love
is-
to have Tim
Do you
on.
want to know what a squirrel sounds like when he is being skinned alive? On a chicken coop.
Wow. This is reminding me of, I put Tim into a D&D game at one point, or he's become one of my stock characters.
Yeah.
But he loved my description of this. It was the party is walking up, and they see in the middle of the forest a giant mushroom just suddenly start to spring up in the middle of the forest, and you hear the druid in the distance, yes, 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 and then suddenly the mushroom knocks over a tree that begins to fall. No, 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 no. And then just yells fuck at the top of his lungs. Discord cut out there, so...
That
Cthulhu
would
Boy,
be
when I was a kid, I used to threaten my TV when it would go into Fritz, like we'd throw you away and it'd start working again.
Don't ask me about what I've done to electronic devices.
Ew.
Nothing
Yeah.
like that, and it's more like rip and
Double
tear
burst
until it
or-
is done. I have gotten very angry at electronics at times. I'm also like very. Well, okay. When I
The
built my
machine
current
spirits
computer,
don't like you.
well, when I built my current computer, I lit incense and played music from the Mechanicus game when I turned it on the first time. So, I think I appeased
Oh.
the spirit in this.
My dad had this old car that, for some reason, it would only start for him. When anyone else would try to fix it or something, it wouldn't start. Even his dad, who was really good at cars, but he would just get in the car and pull the key and it would immediately start going.
Ever seen the movie Christine?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there's
no, I
two,
haven't actually, but
there's two ways I could take that. Now, the naturalistic answer I could give is maybe there was a specific way of moving the key that he just instinctively knew how to do. On the other hand, while I am skeptical of most cases that I hear reported of such things, I do in fact believe in things being haunted.
Yeah, car's haunted, yo.
So, I mean, maybe?
So, to the meth gnomes, Techie says, perhaps the Gobfather derives some revenue from such activities.
Yes. This is another thing about Super Florence that Techie believes in, as I think he calls it, collaborative creative storytelling. So if you said something that he liked, he would have you roll for divine intervention, and if it succeeded on a D100, he would make it real. So this is how me just jokingly saying the name Audi Arabia meant that there was now a country called Audi Arabia, from which you can get Audi Quattros.
The Godfather is like the kingpin of Super Florence. He's a goblin that, from what I understand, pretty much is like Mr. Burns, who runs the underworld. He's like, excellent.
Yeah, I played a member of the Zorgite youth group, so a junior Zorg praiser, as the party's cleric.
Oh yeah, I played the goblin that was part of the Cheese Sniffers Union.
Yep.
The Cheese Sniffers Union.
Yeah, I said like there was a time of what was it when they banned alcohol?
Oh, like the Prohibition.
Yeah, there was basically Prohibition, and like some of the goblins got together and like to get some sort of pleasure. They just started like sniffing really stinky cheese, and even though like Prohibition is lifting, there's now like a refined culture of like cheese sniffers where like you get like a badge and you have to secretly go in and like.
I'm just
They collect
picturing
cheese, you sniff it.
I'm just picturing a goblin like tweaking out in a gutter, just holding a wheel of cheddar.
It's got to be good cheddar. It can't be normal cheddar. It's got to be
it's the sharpest of sharp.
Yeah. It's like it's got.
PK says hello.
Hello.
That goblin probably keeps that cheese like in his socks when he wears them.
Yep. Cartula Boy said there was an old 3D printer I tried to repair last autumn. Like, we're talking 15 plus years old resin printer. I swear to God, by the end, I was prepared to light candles and burn incense and to start it up because holy fuck, that thing was a piece of shit to get running.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, Brewster Buffalo says legacy systems and old hardware turning a device can be a ritual requiring the full moon and a blood sacrifice.
Like, has 3D printing been around for 15 years?
Yeah, just not nowhere near as good as it is now. And it was not...
Yeah. Like, we have
like
technology now that... there's technology that we have now that, we had, like, years... Like, smartphones were a thing, like, a decade before they were actually commercially viable, but that's the thing. They weren't commercially viable, which is why you didn't see it.
Well, you have to remember, Andy, that, like, think about this in 1980s, 1990s money versus today. New computers back then cost about $3,000 or $4,000.
In that time money.
In that kind of money. So that's what 3D printers were like. They were a novelty.
Like how technically we had the internet in the 60s, but only like the military had it, and it was shit.
Yeah.
It's that kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Like you can have a technology but not have it be viable for wide-scale adaptation.
Well, also remember percussion maintenance is a thing.
Oh, 100%.
Matter of fact, the movie Atlantis.
I was thinking of the meme I saw for TF2. It's like, as an engineer, your buildings are your children. Hit them to make them work faster.
What?
That is definitely a thing I've seen floating around for TF2. I don't remember if that's an actual in-game thing. I hope it is because it's fucking funny. But
that just reminds me of that horrible thing I sent Whacker the other day about parenting techniques of the Jedi.
Oh, I need to show you the bit about treating ADHD in the 1990s, and it was just I don't think I can say it. Shut up!
Yeah, that's that one South Park episode goes into that.
Yep.
And as someone that had ADHD, between that and Ritalin,
my guitarist, he doesn't remember 7th grade. He remembers 6th grade and 8th grade clearly. But they had him, I don't know if it was Ritalin or something heavier, but they had him on that stuff, and he couldn't remember where he was those days.
Ritalin turns you into an absolute zombie, and not the 28 Days Later or George Romero zombies. It turns you into the I'm going to stand here and stare off in the distance because I have no self-autonomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like,
Wow.
when he got off that shit, he was way happier. Now, that's
Yeah,
not to
I
say
hope.
that's not to say that all medicine is like that, but unfortunately, that was a time
No.
period where people were overprescribing things. They were using ADHD as a way to excuse undisciplined behavior, etc. It's like, you may legitimately have ADHD. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever they end up calling it tomorrow, because they're constantly refining and reworking names and
Yeah.
such. But it's also something where it's like, Crispy and I here both have varying shades of OCD. Most of the members of the Oxen Legion are some kind of neurodivergent. At the end of the day, you
I'm
still...
autistic as well, so...
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, you still have to have some self-discipline. Or even just discipline from your parents, because we're talking about kids here. Like, there's a lot of kids who were getting medicated basically because, like, their parents weren't guiding them, or they weren't being mentored correctly.
I know with me, getting prescribed medication for my... At the time, they thought it was more like an anxiety disorder, but it ended up being OCD. But I know that my dad was very hesitant to have me take any sort of medication for it. I think probably in part because of that. But in my case, that was actually a benefit. Like, in terms of... Obviously, medication's a difficult thing, and everything has its own side effects and things that you got to deal with. But in my case, the stuff that I take absolutely helps. And I've had times in my life where I've taken it, I've had times where I haven't. And I will tell you for certain, the times where I've taken stuff, I have been a lot less troubled by things, to put it lightly.
Yeah. So. And that was one of those things. Like, I'm on certain medications now, and I think they are good for me. But, like, my father was pretty well aware of that stuff as we were growing up, and it basically came down to if a doctor said it, he would consider it. When a teacher tried to suggest that I go on the stuff, and I believe this was second grade, I wasn't fully cognizant of what this all meant. I want you to imagine a 7 or 8 year old Storm song, and this is the first time he, as a child... Well, wow. This was the first time I, as a child, first came to understand that you can threaten somebody without saying anything. I got the distinct impression my dad was ready to twist that man's head off.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're not stringing my kid out on drugs because you have difficulty controlling him. Like, scold him, send him to the corner, do whatever it is you have to do, but you're not putting him on a drug.
Yeah, no, that's... I mean, that's a whole other fucking discussion that is probably more than we want to get into right now.
That's fair.
It's... It's...
Why are you giving that man
difficult.
rashes?
What?
Why are you giving that man rashes?
I'm trying to figure out if I want to do highlights for the flesh tones or not, because, like... The way I've been doing it is, like, I've been using certain filters on it, and I've just been using, like, white and black for, like, the highlights and shadows. And it doesn't necessarily look the best on the flesh tone, I don't think. So I'm, like, wondering if there's, like, other ways that I can kind of... at this point, I'm just kind of, like, playing with stuff, which is honestly how you kind of figure out just, like, techniques and things. So, but... Yep. I don't know. I might just let it go, because at the same time, I don't think it's necessarily too...
Yeah, because you can't add too much, like...
Yeah.
Detail or highlights and stuff.
Yeah, like
I learned that through a picture. You could add too much,
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, I kind of feel like there's not really much more I can add to this in terms of shading. I think it's at a pretty good spot.
That's why I said, like, maybe study up on, like... I know I said it, but like some what was it, like I think it was like 90s or 2000s anime and like the animated series, because they had they're just like certain areas that you can add like a shade.
It's interesting because like you specifically mentioned like the Batman series, for instance,
or JLA.
The artist behind that and the Justice League one, well, the artist behind both of those is Bruce Timm. And I actually have an art book of his that while he does the shading in there, he also does like a more soft shading with his sort of line art style, and it looks really good. So I do appreciate what you're saying, because it would probably help to kind of just like figure out like a good way to represent shape in a more simplified way, you know.
Yeah, I'm not trying to backseat.
No, it's fine. Like,
done art in a long time.
There's a difference between like backseat and just like offering things to look at, like criticism. Like, I am open to criticism that's constructive, you know.
There's a part of me. There's this old man part of me. Is like, oh God, he's making the same mistakes I did. Oh God, I gotta warn him.
Sparrows
you don't
in chat, he
understand.
says,
Aliens are real. Shut up, old man. And then the aliens were real the whole time.
Sparrow says if you want to thematically add more detail, you could add Yakuza arm tattoos on one of them.
Oh, I don't know if we need to go. Well, I guess I could add Yakuza tattoos, but I don't know.
Only if you want to. I mean, these are all security officers.
Yeah.
As long as like you don't actually somehow perfectly recreate the arm tattoos of an actual Yakuza person, he comes and hunts you down. That's not a Seinfeld episode or anything.
Is that a Seinfeld episode, Andy?
No, but would you believe it to be one?
Yes.
Because that's why I hated Seinfeld. Because
Jerry, what's going on here?
It can happen in real life.
Jerry, what's going on here? You broke the code of Bushido. You have to cut off a finger.
It's like the Noid from Domino's Pizza all over again.
Wow, that got interesting with the Noid.
Yeah.
I'm not as well versed.
We're trying to.
I'm not as well versed Sparrow, so maybe there's a part about the Kurita I don't know.
I mean, they have the Yakuza.
But like, are the Yakuza part of the officerial class?
I don't know.
I would think they'd be very against.
I'm not really
Yakuza.
up on my Kurita lore. I mean, I don't know what this says about me, but my favorite faction is Comstar, so.
Oh, I get it. My favorite faction is the Ghost Bear Rossel Hog Dominion. That or Clan Goliath Scorpion, because
I can see that.
Just drugs everywhere.
Oh, it's that kind of party.
I would pretty much want to play
Shaman time.
Either just your typical like mercenary group that's like, we're in it for ourselves because we don't trust. Sometimes I kind of want to be who are the green guys?
The Jade Falcons?
No, the ones that are just nobody likes them.
Oh, the Capellans.
The Capellans. Just to play the bad guy. Just, cartoon evil. Like, lol.
I mean, most of my mechs that I have now are either painted in, like, my Merc Company colors or Clan Methweasel colors. Although I have a Snorts of Regular Lance I'm working on that is just, like, every one of them is just, like, crazy colors on it because it's Snorts of Regulars, which is probably my favorite Merc unit because it's like, we're going to raid this planet. Oh, what? For strategic stuff? They have a really nice chair in the museum, and I want that shit for the bridge.
I was going to ask Aiden. Okay, I want to make a Capellan army or list, but I only want like 2 light mechs and just the rest infantry with like various weapons and artillery.
Are you gonna do a fucking regiment of infantry and just do like the one with the rifle shoots when the one? Oh god! Just turns into fucking.
Guys have shovels.
A Vindicator wouldn't be a bad choice, though. Apparently, that's
the squad has 1 gun, but they pass it down. They each shoot per turn.
Oh God! I just thought of that one scene from The Happening.
I'm not watching that movie.
Hey, you're not missing much. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so it's like.
Okay, you know what? Me and my mother loved watching Signs.
I would say that's like his one.
That's peak.
Yeah. Well, my wife and I's first date was seeing Glass in theaters, so. I
was looking forward to Village, and
the Village sucks.
The reveal really let me down.
That movie is so boring, and the reveal is like, wait, what?
I return.
You know what? The one time I sat and watched The Village through, the only thing that made that movie exciting wasn't even because of the movie. It was because my friend's grandmother's dog just took a shit on the couch right next to us as we were watching the movie.
That's what I think of your movie. No!
I mean, you know what? I was inclined to agree with her.
This is my dog's critique of your movie.
Well, it's like that one review. I forget the review magazine, but you know the band Jet. I think that's their name. It's like woo.
Rosie
Like
and the Jets.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
No.
dun,
Well,
dun,
they for their second album, the one review magazine, all they did was publish a picture of a monkey pissing into its own face as their review for it.
Wow.
Yeah, like talk about a fuck you. It's like, how was your album? This is what I thought of it.
Yep. Speaking of albums and stuff, it's unfortunate that you don't like musicals, Crispy, because I'm going to be having you help me do the art for one.
Rock Dag.
It's Dig Dug.
Oh, hi
Rock
there.
Dag.
It's a Diggs.
Hey everybody, it's me, Diggs.
Hey,
It's that bear. It's a talking
Oh, God.
barrow shit.
we're in trouble.
It's Sir Diggs of the Black Pants Legion.
I didn't do it this
I
time.
didn't see Whacker, so I just came to go, oh, shit!
Oh,
Well, somebody's
Man.
got to.
Man,
Thank you.
shit.
Thank you.
We
Dick.
need some. We need
What's
some
that?
good advice.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. You need advice? Not by me. I'm terrible at everything.
Oh, okay.
Preaching to the choir on that one.
Whoa, nice reflection. Is that Davion?
Kurita.
Oh. Let's go, Davion!
Actually, not a Diggs
This
this
is-
year.
Uh-oh.
Diggs, have you ever had like a weird or like paranormal experience? Like you see something weird skitter across the road that you just can't quite
Dude,
describe.
I got one. It was from back when I was in high school. I used to go to high school up on Colorado's Mesa, so like top of the Flat Top Mountain.
Fuck you.
And it was a K through 12 school, so it was not many people, like 400 people, 400 kids max. And my graduating class there was 16, and the bottom two did not actually get actually graduate, but they kept them part of the ceremony so they wouldn't feel left out. It's just when they handed them their degree thing, it was empty. So that's pretty
It's
funny.
an IOU.
Yeah, it's good luck next year. But one summer when I was up there with my buddy Cole, we were driving around in his mom's Dodge Neon, a red one with like the beaded tires because we lived up in the mountains, so you needed the snow things. But they would make you slide on non-snow. Anyways, we were fucking around with another group of kids that were having like a party down like at one of like the cross areas, like two cross streets, which is like very few up in the Mesa because it's long roads through the mountains. And we were all hanging out, chilling as we were like trying to pull a prank on somebody, and this fucking random, completely quiet, zero sound, not even like road sound, white Ford Ranger, like a 80 something Ford Ranger, just casually floats, but like not floats, like floating, like just drives by. Right, there was no one in the passenger or driver's seat. It didn't make a sound. There was no engine on. It didn't even have if you hear the wheels on the road crunching through the gravel. Nothing. Like me and three other people just stopped and looked at it. Like we noticed it almost going by. We didn't hear it, and we just stared at it as it kind of just went down the road. And then it was like, "You guys saw that, right?" So there's a haunted white Ford Ranger up in Colorado Mesa's area. So be careful if you're ever up there.
Ford of Colorado.
It might give you a trip to one of the little towns up there if you get lost. But yeah, watch out for the
Honestly,
white Ford Ranger.
That reminds me of some of the stories I've heard of people that have seen the Men in Black phenomenon, which is it's different from the movie. It's really weird, but there's times where the Men in Black will get picked up by a black Cadillac with just completely blacked out windows. You can't see inside of it, and it'll just drive away. And it's just weird that it's like that. But it's like a Ford. Oh my god, I'm choking on I swallowed a bug or something.
It's funny if it's either a ghost truck or what would be funny if aliens in their spaceship are like, oh shit, it's Earthlings, turn into something that they like, and they're pushing buttons.
That's it. That's all we need. You just give them a panel of working buttons, and they'll be happy. I mean, that would make me happy.
Yay.
It's like aliens kidnap you and give you bubble wrap, and you're like, sweet, infinite bubble wrap.
Oh, sorry about that.
We heard you humans like bubble wrap. Don't be condescending on me. It takes the bubble wrap anyways.
Yeah, it's just like
I'm doing this out of principle, not because you're winning.
What if they're like they show the president talking like he's giving the State of the Union, and he's like saying like what we agreed to with the aliens, and it sounds very one-sided to the aliens, but he's popping bubble wrap while he's giving it.
Dude, Cart, he says not aliens, just give you a functional model train set. Well, I agree that would work on most people. The only way it would work on me is if they gave me like Legos.
I don't know why, but I just had the thought of like Bill Clinton taking like a bunch of Grays to McDonald's. Just like pulls up at the drive-thru.
Is it like so? Me and Gummy have been kind of getting into Legos recently because we used to do a lot of jigsaw puzzles, but they kind of got the samey and the bigger ones just felt daunting. So we started doing Lego sets, which is nice because we just like I do a few instructions, so I feel like it's fair. Then she does it, or if there's different like packets, we'll do different ones, right? So it's cute and it's fun, and it still lets us watch a show while we like keep our hands all busy. But I swear, if holodecks were ever real, I think people would find me in there more often just building Lego sets that I never got to build than anything else that's gross or weird.
I know, right? Like,
and you could just be like, I want the 1966 Lego Knights castle set with all accessories and related products, and then boom, in the entire room is like multiple just boxes you get to open and enjoy that shit. I'd be in.
So what you're saying is that when we do make the transition to holodecks, one of the games that will probably survive is Minecraft.
100%.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I would love to do like not like the Minecraft movie level of weird, although it wasn't that bad honestly, but I think it would be cool to be in Minecraft as a Minecraft person, not as a human.
Yeah. Diggs, there's a secondhand Lego store like not too far from where I live, and man, you should see like they have so many of like those old sets in there, just like all the old ones from like the 90s and 2000s, like the original Star Wars sets and everything, and it's so cool. They're so fucking expensive though. Like the one time I was in there, a guy came in and he bought either like the Super Star Destroyer or like the Ultimate Collector Star Destroyer, I forget which, and it was like $1,000 to buy that. It was like an older set, but it's just like it's insane how much they go for. So it's
I
can absolutely sympathize with wanting to build shit in the holodeck.
We went to what was it, a Peruvian place to get some kebab and hummus.
Nice.
And next door was a Lego store, which I went into. Which we actually decided as we finished eating because we were both working. He was a coworker. We leave and I'm like, I really want to look inside this Lego store because the one at the mall is an official Lego store, so it has like 4 displays and just the walls are covered in Lego sets, and that's like it. It's kind of boring. I mean, yeah, you get to look at the newest ones all built, but there's no flavor or life to it. Yeah. We go in this place, they have like 3 or 4 pool table sized multi-level clear boxes full of like Lego like scenes from movies and battling stuff, and I was like, holy shit, these people are real. The downside is I didn't get any Lego points for it because it wasn't official, but I did walk away with a set because I wanted to support the place after seeing it because I was asking the kid, I'm like, did you do this? He's like, yeah, I did these 5. I was like, dude, you got some talent. It's like, I've been playing Lego since I was born. My dad, and apparently his dad and his uncle both run this place.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of what our store is like. Is like one of the things that they have on a kind of permanent display is like they have a giant flying saucer mothership they have hanging in there, and then they have diorama sets that'll change out of this town every once in a while. It's really cool.
Yep. Also,
go ahead, Storm.
Sorry, just a public service announcement to that end. I loved my Legos very dearly, but at some point they were just taking up space. There are companies that will take your Legos and distribute them to children that don't have toys.
Oh boy!
So I had to post 2 links because he brought up the flower sets, and our first 3 sets that we bought was a tuxedo cat, which we haven't put together yet because it's 2,000 pieces, and then 2 botanical flower ones, which we now put in our house. And actually, when I went to that Lego store, I bought her another botanical one, but this one's like the bouquet, so it's a little bit more purple and like not as bright as those. But yeah, I'm excited. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's good. So just all I'm encouraging people to do is if you find that you don't need something like that in your life anymore, just remember the joy it gave you and allow that joy to go to someone else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. When I was growing up, I had very few Lego sets, but I had friends that like had Lego sets, and they were those kind of kids that'd be like, "Oh, I like what you built. You can keep it." So I'd slowly accumulated sets over the years, or like pieces of it. And up until 2 moves ago, I still had 2 5-pound kitty litter box like pails full with Legos from all these different sets that I had, and ones I got given or probably stolen because I was I had a couple shit moments like that. But like I ended up selling those back to the like a secondhand Lego store because they like to redistribute that stuff. Like they'll actually take pieces from that set, and if they can build something that's been built before, like an actual set, they do unofficial sets that you can buy. They're already built, and you can just buy those, and they'll take, like, if you order them, they'll take them apart and put them in a bag for you, so you can do it yourself.
Awesome.
We need to get Diggs a Lego white Ford truck. With an
No, a
elevated
Ford
bag.
Ranger.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
No, it's back.
It haunts my dreams.
I didn't have Legos. We had Connects.
Those could get pretty cool though. Like,
Dude,
I made a moving hand, and it like made my mother absolutely lose her mind because I had like a working hand.
oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I had a couple connects, but not too many. But I had erector sets. Does anyone remember erector sets?
Those were those were pretty wild. It's just like
Yeah, that's I think what gave me like my in to be an engineer.
Yeah, I can see that.
I used to make such weird random things with those like metal bars. It was like Lincoln Logs but metal.
Yeah,
I had
like-
Lincoln Logs.
Oh, me too. I had Lincoln Logs as well.
I did.
I never had those.
Did you ever get a set of those like styrofoam 3D puzzles? Like I actually got a 3D like styrofoam piece Star Destroyer set. No, it wasn't Star Destroyer. It was Millennium Falcon.
Ooh.
It took me 2 months to put it together.
Oh my god, they still do erector sets.
Wait, really? Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm looking at one. I don't know if it's the same company, but there's one I'm looking at right now that they super construction set, which is like 25. Oh, this one set builds 25 different models that are motorized and the original Steam toy.
That's so cool.
What the fuck? I'm buying this. It's only 140.
Oh fuck yeah!
You know, I'm looking back at some of the old Lego sets I had, and this is back in the 90s, so probably when most, except for Crispy, were that age. And I'm starting to see, like, oh yeah, this is pretty clearly where a lot of my mental image of spaceships comes from.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, when I played with Legos, I had this weird like scratching urge in the back of my head that I had to use every piece. Like if there was a piece or two left, I had to find somewhere to put that, you know?
I did the same. I totally did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't have that streaming when I like put together like furniture or something like that. An extra screw, I don't care. But Legos, no,
Yeah.
that piece has to go somewhere. Even though
Yeah.
this isn't a predetermined build, this is like it's got to be there. It's got to be
I like
part of
adding
the
in
group.
pieces time to time. I don't do it as much as I used to as a kid, but yeah.
I haven't outgrown that because I get upset if I don't use all of the items on the back of my sound system. It's like, I need something to plug into that. It's stupid, but I get that from time to time.
We had a Lego fair down here on the coast about 5 years ago. That was pretty fun.
Oh word. Man, I need to
Dude,
tune into,
story
like, Dr.
styrofoam. Wow.
Matter
Yeah,
of fact,
I remember
really-
breaking the pieces and they'd never work again because you can't glue styrofoam.
Yeah, I don't think that would have lasted long with me as a kid. I was not very... Like, Legos I was kind of delicate with, but it's also Legos, like, they can take a beating, like, but I had plenty of toys where I would just, like, I used to build, like, big army man battles out in the backyard and shit. And
Does
just have
anyone-
these-
Does anyone here remember Z-Bots?
The name sounds
Let me look it up.
familiar.
Oh.
The name
I
sounds
used to-
real familiar.
I used to collect those.
No, I never seen these before.
Wait, I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, geez.
Oh wait. Were they made of like rubber almost, like a plastic?
Kind of a plastic rubber, and they were
Oh
like,
my god.
small armies of these guys. They had Burger King toys of them at one point.
Whoa!
I think that's where I
had
got one.
The big one, the big robot that you put them in.
Had him.
I had one that had like a ball with spikes on it as a fist, and I always wondered where it looked like it came from, but it looks like these are... Oh my god, look, the one from Mystery Science Theater.
This might have been a bit before my time, but I vaguely... Oh, they're Micro Machines, too. Shit.
Yeah,
Oh, Micro Machines.
Micro Machines
Oh,
are
man.
dope. God, I miss Micro Machines. Those were... I was at an antique store a couple months ago with my wife, and they had like a little pack of like unopened Micro Machines that were like a Target exclusive I bought because I was like, I want me some Micro Machines. And I didn't
Micro
take them out of the
Machines
pack.
Gas and Dash. Oh my shit, I've seen that one.
I used to have...
It had like
the,
a like carousel.
Do you guys remember the one Micro Machine playset where it was like the RV that folded out into like a whole city? Like I had
Whoa.
that one was so cool.
I think I remember the commercial for that. Yeah, it looks like that van, and it has like all the... Here, I found it.
We got
question
to
from
feel old.
chat.
Check that out.
Riven asks what the art piece
never
is
mind.
called.
What
Ignore
the
that.
which one? Mine
What
or
you're
Diggs?
drawing right now. What you're drawing right now.
Oh, with this is a character commission I'm doing for Cold Father's Battle Tech tabletop game he's got. This is like the party and everyone, so I've
been
still
going
got
on
a
a
bit
while.
more to... Yeah.
Whoa.
This one's been taking a while, yeah. Group
Okay.
picks always do, but I'm liking how it's going. I just need to add like he wants to have like a broken emblem for like Smoke Jaguar at the bottom here. I gotta add in yet, which I just haven't gotten to it yet because that's something I'm thinking about how I want to do.
I had a few of those Star Trek Micro Machine sets. Those were cool.
Oh,
Look
alright.
at... check out this link, Crispy. It's the folded out RV. Very small.
Yeah, I want to see that nostalgia.
Okay,
Oh my.
you guys got to listen to this. So the Z-Bots, that stuff came out in 1992 and 1994. But listen to this backstory. The original story behind the Z-Bots was that they were invented in 2025 by a group of scientists to protect the world from evil.
We gotta do
However,
it.
60 years later, a group of rival scientists stole the technology and built rival machines. The current war, according to the deception, to take place in the 22nd century.
Wow,
Oh yeah.
some deep lore there.
The other toys I played with at that time were Mighty Max.
Oh yeah.
Mighty man.
Yeah,
These,
the name sounds familiar, but
It was these like little play sets that you open up. It's like a monster's skull, and there's like a little horror.
Oh, I remember the
laboratory set.
cartoon.
Yep, there was a toy push cartoon with it.
It was Mighty Max and the Polly
Polly
Pocket.
Pocket. Yeah, that was the girl version.
oh, see, I remember Polly Pocket because my sister.
I remember
had those.
Pippi Longstocking.
I also remember that as well.
Is always coming to your town.
You know, Storm Song, you can find some of those toys on eBay between like $30 to $175.
Yeah.
It's tempting.
There's a certain temptation with it, but no, like I'm too much of a. I'm like a soft hoarder. Like if I'm not careful, stuff just builds up, and then I'm like, I really should get rid of this.
Yeah.
I kind of have a little bit of that going on, but I also am in an apartment, so I don't exactly have the most space to begin with.
Imagine if you're into like Warhammer, looks at my shelf.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're talking
Yeah.
about Legos, and I'm just like looking behind me. It's like, oh yeah, I've got a few.
Yeah, everyone knows Bionicle. I watched the 8-hour lore video on Bionicle.
Oh, I need to watch
That was-
that.
I
never got into
love-
that.
I loved the Bionicle comic books. Those
Bionicle
were
was
pretty
my
cool.
childhood. Yes, I got those too. Those were so fun. I still got all
There's
of
some
mine
people
too.
making some very interesting Bionicle like stop animation cartoons.
Yeah, there's one that I've kind of followed. It's interesting. Bit weird, but I'm gonna just see where it goes. But yeah, I love seeing like that people still build like mocks and things with it.
Have you seen like the historical war enactments with Legos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Those
have.
are actually kinda cool.
Those stop motions are pretty. Yeah, like there's ones I've seen of like tank battles in World War II, and they actually will they'll chip out bits of the bricks to give it like realistic impacts and things. And it's like, damn, talk about commitment.
Like medieval war, where it's just like hundreds of them charging across the field
Oh,
and
yeah.
hitting each other.
Well, I hate
Dude,
to be that guy, Crispy, but we are running up on the.
Yeah,
4:30
I was
mark.
gonna say we are getting close to time here. As much as I'd like to go down the rabbit hole of Lego stop motion. Yeah, I know, Andy. Sadly, we
Sorry,
gotta.
guys.
No, well, hey, no, I'm
You
glad
know
you stopped
what?
by, Diggs. We had a fun discussion. As
I
it is,
illegally
so, yeah.
stopped by because I did not announce it.
Hey, it's fine.
I'm gonna have to punish myself.
Hey, Tex has already hopped in stream and done the same thing, so don't worry about
Did
it.
he say Happy Two Kid Day?
No, he didn't do that today. Previously,
Oh.
he hasn't been in today. It's been like previously he's hopped in. Like,
Well,
when
I'm
I
gonna
was-
go kick his ass then.
Oh, please do.
Hey, go.
All right. Well, hey, thank you everybody for joining us today on stream.
I will. My lord's the now holy drink, and yes, thank you so much.
Yes. We
Yes.
hope you all have a good rest of your day and a rest of your week.
Stay safe.
Stay safe and take it easy.
Woo!